Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new crypto update. Today we have a lot to speak about. Crazy what in the beginning of the year all happened so far. America, in that sense, invaded Venezuela and took the president in 2 or 3 hours, which is going to be very interesting for the future because they are holding the biggest oil reserves and some of the biggest silver, gold, and rare metals in general. And at the same time, Bitcoin is starting to pump really out of nowhere, even though we have some technical explanation for that. But today we're going to focus especially on where is BTC heading, what all of these macro events mean for the future for crypto especially, and obviously what we're doing right now. And as you guys know, in BTC right now, as you can see in front of us, you can see that I had a very big short position open, which got stop loss break even, right? I got stopped out break even, which you can see over here. And then yesterday I re-entered into a position just before all of the sell limits that are sitting. If you go into the heat map yesterday, especially here, as you can see, we had a lot of sell limits sitting. 106 million worth of USD in BTC at 93, and then we had even before that 103 million sitting at 93. Right, so this is basically this red zone over here, and as you can see, these strong sell limit heat map areas, I transferred them over into the chart. The past one was this one that we bounced off multiple times. Then we had one over here, right? And then obviously we have the opposite side, the demand over here. So this is the supply in red, and this is demand where people want to currently buy. And as you can see, there's many at 82, at 81, and at 80. And this is basically just transferred over and marked so you guys can have a little bit of an easier overview, and myself too, obviously, right? So why did I take a short? So first of all, we are still in a short sequence, right? We didn't finish the sequence yet. And out of this sequence, you can see we had a distribution phase, an accumulation phase, distribution phase, and we had a very strong accumulation phase since basically the low was reached in November 25th, right? So December 25th, and then we have since 1 month and 1 week basically this sideways trend, right, which is an accumulation phase. We are accumulating, we are in a fair price zone, no buyers, no sellers, no one's really stepping in. That can be due to Christmas time and New Year's Eve time, right, or basically New Year's. Around these holidays, markets in general lack volatility, right? But what we're doing here is we are in a bullish internal sequence, right? So we are in an overall bearish setup, but internally on a smaller time frame, as you can see here, this orange sequence, we are in a bullish sequence, okay? And this bullish sequence so far seems to be holding, and after this distribution phase over here, which is basically, this accumulation phase over here, we are starting a little bit of a distribution phase. Now, we need to see if it's going to be a distribution phase by breaking especially the last high, right? Which then would result in a stop loss hit here for my BTC trade, and then I'm out for now, seeing where it starts to react and fade out, where the distribution phase starts to fade out and then go a little bit sideways, and then we can start to sell again. If that's this key level over here, the BC correction level from the bearish sequence, or if it's up here, the C target, right? We need to see that. We can't say that yet. Again, these are the scenarios we have been speaking about. Excuse me. We've been speaking about a lot over the last couple of weeks, right, in our updates and our weekly updates. Now, why did I sell BTC here? Now, first of all, we are in a automatic key level over here, and a key level where we reacted multiple times, right? You can call it fair value zone, you can call it resistance, you can call it sell limit order sitting here strongly in the heat map. Now they're being adjusting a little bit, so as you can see, they went up to 95. And we are getting more orders over there, but there is a very strong sell order block in this area, right? Even if we expand it now, going up to 95, right? So 95, and do we have any at 95.5, right? So we did 95.5. Okay, so this is a very strong area where we have a lot of sell limits sitting, right? And we had that in the past too, and as you can see, we basically had a high, and then we had an exhaustion, right, and basically a retest, and then we started to go lower, right? But since we are also reacting bullish, this makes it a little bit complicated and more difficult for us, right? And that's why maybe many people are confused right now, right? Now, we are overall in a bearish sequence, right? But we are also building up a bullish sequence that is starting to react. Now, again, what is going to be very interesting if we break this level. So far, we are rejecting from this level. So even if I would move over this area from the past, as you can see, we are perfectly rejecting this area so far. We got a rejection candle. It's not a strong one, but we got a rejection candle over here. We flipped bearish, 3 consecutive bearish 4-hour chart candles. And so far, I think we are still in the trade. I need to check my accounts. Let me do that for now. If I'm still, probably I got spread it out. No, I'm still in it. Yeah, so my BTC positions are still open, okay? Which is good because it was very close, right? Very, very close, okay? Now, would I consider re-entering right now? Yes, I would. I would still take the risk of basically having a positive, profitable sell trade in the future because we are still rejecting. We did not really create a new high, just slightly, but you cannot call it any confirmation. For us, what we really need to see now, if we break this setup, right? So it's one trade, because if we break this, we come and retest in that sense, then it's out. We're not going to sell again. We're not going to try it, right? It could obviously fake out and come back. Sometimes happens, right? Where the exhaustion is a little bit higher and then comes back down, and then maybe we enter into a re-entry. But right now, in my opinion, it is still valuable. It would still be valuable and most likely profitable to sell in this area right now. How do you put your take profit stop loss? I always do it the same way. Again, this is not financial advice. That's just what I'm doing. I just entered a little bit before the sell block, the strong sell block, sell limit block over here, and I put my stop loss just above the last high, right, which so far worked pretty well. It was close. Again, if I move this out, you can see it was pretty close. If I zoom in, we had a couple of pips here in between, but yeah, that's at the end of the day what I'm trying to do here is selling, and that's why we are in a sell, right? And our old trade unfortunately got stopped out break even, but it is completely okay. We were highly in profit, but that's just what it is, okay? All in all, I'm still more bearish than bullish on crypto. I think we're gonna reject and then create a lower level. I think this push up here, so this whole push is just gonna collect a lot of sells, right? And these sells are then gonna sell liquidity in that sense, right? We're just gonna collect a lot of liquidity to the downwards and then really go towards the 80 and here see target 77. And then we can start to speak again about more bullish scenarios. But again, going into a bigger picture here, it makes a lot of sense. BTC is reacting very well. The only thing here is that we are crossing the EMA 200, right? That's something that could be a little bit dangerous. We crossed it, we went above it, we broke out so far, but that doesn't mean a lot so far, because even if you go into a daily now, you can see there's still a lot of room to come back to the 50% correction level of the bearish sequence, which would be my preferred target if we move up, right? So these are the two scenarios. You can see I also put a put option in BTC that's going to expire in many months. So I don't care that we are right now in drawdown. That is okay. I might re-enter in another put just to get a better price because again, I'm still primarily bearish. Now, when it comes to smart money, you can see that the sentiment has changed a lot, and many smart money traders have been pushing upwards and making profits on this, which is legit, right? It's very legit to say I'm gonna buy here, right? I just don't know what the outcome should be so far, because here it really started to flip, right? This entry was perfect. We couldn't have seen this accumulation phase over here with stability and then really reacting in the 50% correction level. But this one here in the contrarian direction would have been a legit trade to say, okay, we are coming back, we are holding the level, we are going sideways, we are building stability. Something like this here would be completely legit to say, okay, I'm gonna put in a buy trade over here, which is something like this, right? You're risking 4%, 5% to make 7%, right? But since I'm overall bearish, I would not risk it, and especially during this time now of holiday season, it just makes no sense. There's not a lot of volatility, but now New Year is starting, a lot of macroeconomic things are happening, right? Therefore markets are overly positive, right? Especially with the capture of Maduro, solving the Venezuelan crisis in that sense and problems, generating a lot of new resources or stealing a lot of new resources in that sense, right? And taking them away from China and from Russia's influence, which Venezuela was under the influence. It is a big play, right, for the economy, and it looks overall very positive, right? That's why we have these green numbers everywhere. If it's in commodities, if it's in stocks, if it's in more or less in crypto, sorry guys, if it's in many other areas, okay? So then also another thing that is very interesting, the dollar is getting stronger. So normally when Dixie goes up, crypto goes down, right? So with a stronger dollar, which we are seeing right now and constantly getting new highs, right? It could be again flipping more bearish for crypto. I also believe that, and that's something we don't know yet, obviously, right? It's we're always trying to predict the markets, but I believe that dollar is going to go higher this year. I think that was the lowest point that we have seen in a dollar, because obviously Trump's plan in 2025 last year was to keep the dollar low. We saw the lowest low here at 96, as you can see, and now we are starting to build these bullish sequences and going higher, right? And I think we're gonna start to go higher again in the dollar. Just with everything that happened in Venezuela, Trump managed to cut inflation, and with all of the new oil and resources, make everything cheaper. So it's gonna be very interesting. I don't know if we're gonna create lower levels here so far, but I would predict a higher dollar in the future, which again is not so good for crypto. Not so good. Okay, so we need to really see. It's still very difficult to say, but we need to keep that in mind, right? What I just said in the sense of smart money before, if you go into Hyperliquid and you check the top traders, 60% are long, 40% are short, right? In general, right? Most traded is BTC. Okay, trade profitability is higher at 31%. Sometimes it sits at 10. So many people have been very positive and making a lot of money with longs in BTC. You can see one wallet here is 61.83 million long in BTC, another one in Ethereum, and they're all very profitable, right? As you can see here, he's 102 million in P&L all time, right? Last 30 days, 1.8, nearly 1 million. So there's a lot of profits from longs coming in, okay? And that's okay, that's good, because intraday wise, short-term wise, long, midterm, a little bit more short so far. Can flip, the switch can flip very fast. That's why we do these updates weekly. But for now, I'm very happy with the sell, and I'm gonna continue to sell even if we get a stop loss here, and it doesn't, and we get rejected fast with a rejecting candle, something like this, where you have a bigger wick, right? To make it easy explainable for you, something like this means the buys are being absorbed very fast here too. And if we get even a high and another wick like this, I would still resell again. Wait a little bit and resell. But I am definitely selling, and I gave you various reasons why, and explained you technically why it makes sense. And then also when it comes to the order book, or to the heat map in general, right? We can also check here on on Velo, which I recommend you guys to start to check a little bit. It's very good to combine, and Velo is completely for free. I prefer to use Market Monkey, but that's pretty expensive. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of sells at 95, 94, okay? And we are coming into this bearish Ichimoku cloud, which acts like more like resistance here, right? And we're coming into this resistance cloud. So gonna be very interesting from now where we're heading to. But again, my bet is up. I'm in a put option, so I'm shorting on the option market BTC, and I have shorts open on my exchanges, on my MetaTrader account, on my funded accounts, on my real money accounts, basically everywhere where I'm shorting BTC, and I've been shorting it for a very long time, okay? But with that being said, guys, make sure to comment below if you have any questions. I'm always here to answer them. Make sure to check out the first link in the description where you can join the free value community, or even check out how I teach people on how to trade, and especially this technical system, which is called the NXT system. But with that being said, make sure to leave a like. I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year financially, for commodities, for energy, for crypto. Crypto just needs a little bit more time, I think. It's not time yet, but we will see, right? We can only come up with predictions and see, but so far it looks like we still have some bearish key levels to take out before we really go higher and really collect more buys into it, okay? See you in the next one.